Koreans, along with the Chinese and Japanese, are globally recognized by Westerners as one of the most distinct populations. They possess a unique beauty and a deeply rooted culture. In this video, we will explore the origin of the Korean people through sacred scriptures, genetic analysis, and historical narratives. This type of content has sparked great interest, especially because the genealogies of Asian peoples rarely address their biblical origins. Here, you will get an in-depth view of the origin of the Korean people, considering the Bible, history, and genetics. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, leave your likes, and follow along with our series, The Origin of Peoples, According to the Bible. Koreans constitute an ethnic group from East Asia, originating in Korea. Most Koreans reside in the two Korean nations, North Korea and South Korea, collectively known as Korea. In 2021, approximately 7.3 million ethnic Koreans lived outside Korea. Additionally, Koreans are officially recognized as an ethnic minority in other Asian countries, including China, Japan, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Uzbekistan. Outside the Asian continent, significant Korean communities have formed in Germany, the UK, France, the United States, Canada, and Oceania. South Koreans refer to themselves as Hanguk-in or Hanguk-saram, both meaning people of Samam. This includes members of the Korean diaspora, who often use the term Han-in. Meanwhile, North Koreans refer to themselves as Joseon-in or Joseon-saram, both literally meaning people of Joseon. They arrived from the First Korean Kingdom. Koreans in China identify themselves as Gyeoksianju in Chinese or Junguk Joseon in Korean, both meaning group of Joseon. On the other hand, Koreans in Japan self-identify as Zainichi Chosenjin in Japanese or Jail Joseon in Korean. Ethnic Koreans residing in Russia and Central Asia refer to themselves as Goryeo-saram, alluding to the Korean Goryeo dynasty, which existed from 918 to 1392. In the chorus of the South Korean national anthem, Koreans are mentioned as Daein Saraim, especially in inter-Korean contexts addressing the Korean language or ethnicity as a whole. As for the Korean language, it is known to be linguistically isolated, meaning it has little similarity to other languages in the Far East. Despite this, it shows a notable resemblance to Japanese and is called Hangul in Korean. Both languages are classified in the Altaic language group due to various analogies between them. Regarding the genetic origin of the Korean people, despite disagreements among nationalists from Far East countries, it is important to highlight that genetically they are closely related. Some claims by ethno-nationalists suggesting that Koreans are Paleo-Siberians closer to Europeans than other East Asians are dismissed as complete misunderstandings. It is crucial to understand that Paleo-Siberians descend from an initial migration of East Asians towards the north, replacing the ancient Eurasians of the north. These Paleo-Siberians have a closer relationship with Native Americans than with other East Asians and were largely replaced by Neo-Siberians and later by groups from Northeast Asia. Comparatively, genetic analyses of ancient genomes have revealed that the genetic composition of Koreans can be better described as a mixture of ancient Northeast Asian, Russian, and Iron Age genomes. In the Southwest Asian region, such as in Cambodia, Koreans typically exhibit a genetic composition reflecting around 30% Neo-Siberian influence from Northeast Asia, represented by migratory events, and approximately 70% Southeast Asian influence, represented by indigenous groups isolated in Vietnam and Taiwan. Additionally, it is interesting to note that all East Asians, including Neo-Siberians, Paleo-Siberians, and Native Americans, descend from East Asian ancestors who migrated from Southwest Asia in various expansions to the north. Addressing a common question about the Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese, Koreans and Chinese are closely related, especially with the Han Chinese. The genetic proximity between Han Chinese and Koreans is notable, being closer than, for example, a genetic comparison between Germans and Italians. The East Asian region, and to some extent the Southeast Asian region, are notable for being genetically homogeneous and closely related. Genealogical studies indicate extremely similar genetic profiles among Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese, making them genetically almost indistinguishable. Ancient samples located globally, analyzed using autosomal DNA, reveal that East and Southeast Asians form a single genetic cluster. Furthermore, they are close to populations in Oceania and Native Americans. Therefore, indigenous peoples, such as those in Brazil and North America, are closely related to Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese due to their shared origin, making them, in other words, sibling peoples. Now, addressing the biblical origin through ancient biblical genealogies and comparing them with the Hebrew-Aramaic text on the origins of all peoples according to the Bible, I will discuss the biblical origin of Koreans according to sacred scriptures. I have already covered their language, history, genome, genetics, and comparisons with other sibling populations. Now, I focus on the biblical ethnic origin of Koreans. Before beginning, I would like to emphasize that extreme East Asian peoples, such as the Chinese, Japanese, and Koreans, share the same genetic ancestors, as mentioned earlier. This aligns with the Bible, which also agrees with the origin of East Asian peoples. Focusing on the first biblical ancestor of the Koreans, it's interesting to note that this ancestor is the same as that of the ancient Chinese. This biblical character is called Sin or Sinim, one of the sons of Canaan and the great-grandson of Noah, also the grandson of Ham. Through ancient biblical genealogies, we discover that the Chinese are descendants of Sin. Although some may question if they truly belong to the lineage of Ham, the Hamites, I will explain further. The first ancestor of both South and North Koreans is Sin, the son of Canaan. The second ancient ancestor of the Korean people comes from the lineage of Japheth and is called Togarma, one of the grandsons of Japheth and the son of Gomer, as described in Genesis chapter 10. Sin and Togarma represent the lineages of Canaan and Japheth, respectively. The Canaanite groups remained in the Middle East, while the descendants of Sin, the Sinites or Chinese, migrated to the east, reaching China and dispersing to other nearby regions. Many experts claim that Japheth's wife played a crucial role in introducing the Asian factor, including the slanted eyes and distinctive features of Asian peoples. However, some also suggest that this Asian trait, including slanted eyes, may have been inherited from the descendants of Ham. Some African tribes descended from Ham, such as the Fulani and Khoisan, are known for their slanted eyes, similar to some East Asian peoples. The origin of the Koreans is linked to these two biblical characters, with some East Asian peoples exhibiting a lighter skin tone from Japheth's descendants, represented by Togarma, Japheth's grandson. The Asian genetics of Koreans may have come from both Japheth's wife and the descendants of Shem, resulting in different characteristics present in various East Asian groups. Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese are considered genetically related descendants of Shem, the son of Noah, and Togarma, Japheth's grandson. In ancient maps and Jewish and Semitic traditions, the peoples of the Far East are often described as Sin or Sinim in Hebrew, and also as the house of Togarma in the book of Ezekiel. The mixture of these lineages often resulted in the origin of indigenous peoples. I thank everyone who has watched so far and ask that you share the video, as well as provide suggestions for future content on the origin of other Asian, Oceanian, African, American, and other world regions. God bless, and see you soon.